it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome to another video. It's been a really long time since I've posted on YouTube, just life getting in the way. We've recently had a really cold spell in the UK. Where I live we haven't had tons of snow. Other parts of the UK have had loads, but we've had enough flurries for me to be able to get out and do some snowflake photography. So in this video I just wanted to kind of go through the steps that I follow to get pictures of individual snowflakes. This is just using a basic Canon 1100D, some extension tubes, and it's all just handheld, so nothing fancy, something you'll be able to replicate if you get any snow where you are. So hope you find this video helpful. If there's any chance that there's going to be snow, I keep a black cloth folded up and keep it in the freezer at -20. That way I've got a nice high contrast base that I can use that's nice and cold. This is just a Halloween tea towel, but it works perfectly well. The next thing I use is a full set of Jessup's extension tubes. The reason for that is that it allows the camera lens to be focused much closer to the actual snowflake than it would do without the extension tubes there. So I actually use all three of them that are in the set that I've got, and I use that with my 50mm fixed lens. This is an EF Canon lens, so it doesn't have the protrusion at the back that the kit lens does, so they all bolt together really nicely. So it gives you quite a long lens length, but I just tend to do this handheld. Then take the black cloth out of the freezer and just lay it on a table outside. I then just focus the lens at the nearest I can get it focused using this embroidered skull, quite handy. And then as the snowflakes land, I basically just move the camera around looking through the viewfinder, and when it rest my thumb or my finger on the bottom of the lens and on the table, so I'm kind of supporting the weight of the camera, then just keep taking pictures on constant. I tend to have the camera on automatic no flash, but I do all the focusing manually and it's all handheld, so there's no kind of fancy cooling stages or fancy camera equipment here. It's all just kind of handheld. Now the downside of this setup is that it does have a very narrow depth of field, so that means if you're not completely kind of parallel to the snowflake, there will be parts of it that will start to kind of be out of focus. Even though that's the case, I still think you can get some really interesting shots. All these little fibres are just part of the cloth, and also cat hair, because we have several cats, so cat hair gets on absolutely everything. Even when the snowflakes land, they can sometimes start to melt quite quickly, but as long as you get a photograph really soon after they land, then they actually look really good together. You can see these snowflakes with the naked eye, so I tend to look around with the naked eye, find one I like, and then just kind of go over to it, just keep taking photographs and moving around the towel. There's a few pictures here that I took on the 8th and the 10th of February this year, but there's also a couple of photographs here that I took I think 2018, January or February 2018. So these are all just single shots without any kind of fancy focus stacking or anything like that. And even when the snowflakes clump together, you can still get some really interesting effects. And if the focus is good, you can actually crop and get in a lot closer with that. But if you do want to try and deal with the depth of field issue, one thing you can do is focus stacking. Now I use Affinity Photo normally for my focus stacking, and I tried it with this particular picture, but because these photographs were handheld, me kind of rocking back and forth meant that it couldn't align things very well, so I just used a layer mask in Photoshop. So these final two pictures are just ones that I've used a layer mask in Photoshop, where I've happened to just get a couple of different regions of the clusters in focus at the same time. So yeah, a pretty straightforward process. I do some very quick processing in Lightroom or Fastone Image Viewer, and that's it. So nothing very technical. So I hope you found this useful. Please do give this a go. I know there's been a lot of awesome pictures shared online recently that just don't even look real, they're so beautiful, but in order to achieve those, people have been doing some pretty fancy stuff with homemade rigs and special camera equipment. I just wanted to show you the way that I do this, just using very basic camera equipment. So I hope you found that helpful. See you in my next video.